White to play. What are you going to do here? This is from the game Vincent Keymer against Puya Idanii, played in the FIDE Grand Swiss tournament, end of October this year, 2023. Game has reached boiling point. You can see that black threatens mate in 1. Eliminating that knight won't help because then the rook will cover the flight square. So how should white play here? Well, Vincent Keymer is an excellent calculator, and he saw his way through to the end of the game here. Notice I haven't told you what white is trying to achieve. That's for you to work out. No clues. So white to play, what are you going to do? Keymer played queen takes knight. That means the king now has a flight square on e2. Idanii checked in the corner, and then he took the queen. Okay, all looks pretty logical so far. Now the queen is shut away in the corner, and this pawn threatens to run through. So queen takes pawn. Now this is the crunch moment in the game. I do hope that you calculated a little further than this when you started out in the initial position. So white to play, what do you do here? I'll give you another chance, of course. b7 is the obvious move to push on. But after queen e4 check, white has nothing better than a draw. You can even lose this very easily if you allow, for example, king d1, queen b1, and black takes off the pawn and black is winning. I mean, it's still a draw after king f1 check and so on. It's just repeating the position. But b7, after b7, queen e4 check, white has no more than a draw. So that's not the right move. Okay, what about something like bishop a5? Protecting that pawn. Looks a bit clumsy. And after queen e4 check, in fact, black is more than fine in this position. If the king goes this way, you start grabbing pawns. If it goes back to f1, of course, you can just repeat. In fact, c5 is incredibly powerful, and black should be winning that one. So bishop a5 doesn't help. In fact, there is a winning move for white. Rook e8. That's the move that you had to visualize before going in for all of this. Simple idea. The rook covers the e4 square, so the queen can't come back to give check. And that gives white's king security just for a moment, and then white has time to push the pawn down the board, and black's queen simply can't get back over. To prevent the pawn advancing, in fact, Idanii resigned here. If, for example, well, let's say queen takes pawn, then b7, and the checks are going to run out very quickly. Or queen g6, b7, okay, you can give a check. Queen check and king e1. Notice no more checks, and the pawn just steps forward and white wins. So let's go back to the initial position. Keymer, well, way back he calculated correctly. Of course, he didn't just find the win in this position, he'd seen it beforehand. So he took here, and then the key move, rook e8, wins for white.